Hi, my little babies. Welcome back to another episode of What the Smut Book Reviews. I'm wearing burgundy lipstick today. Hi. Welcome back to another episode of What the Smut Book Reviews. I really appreciate being here. Let's try that again, shall we? Welcome back to another episode of What the Smut Book Reviews. This is Candace on a much chiller level. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you for joining me for another episode. I really appreciate it. I already said that. Fuck it, whatever. I appreciate you 2 times. I do. I really do. In today's episode, we are here to review a book. Of course we are. I say that every time. Why can't you just go, Candace, we're here to review a book and just say the book? Why can't you just go, we're here to review this book? Why can't you just do that? How come every time you have to go, we're here to review a book? Stop. Period. You're really bad at this. And you've been doing this for going on like, what, 2 years? Something just cracked in my neck when I just Stewie? Okay, anyways, we're here to review this book. Ciao, Bella. We're here to review this book, Mafia Madman, by author Mila Finelli. I said it in the bloopers before we started this video that I cut out and I'm going to put in the bloopers, that I've been just going around saying a lot of random Italian words since I finished reading this book. I don't speak Italian. I don't know any Italian. I only know the Italian words that these books have taught me. Like the curse words. I'm okay with that. Honestly, like 80% of my vocabulary is curse words. So it works out. So today we will be reviewing this book. This is book 3 in, I don't even know what the name of the series is. Does this series have a name? Oh, it's the Kings of Italy series. Again, I repeat, I'm really bad at this. You would think I would have written this down. No. You're lucky I wrote down the prices of the different versions of this book. I did do that. You're welcome. So this is book 3. Book 3? Book 2. Okay, listen. The first book was a duet. So you do the math. This is book whatever in her Kings of Italy series. Okay? The first book was Mafia Mistress, followed by Mafia Darling. That was a duet about the same couple. And then you have this one, Mafia Madman, which is about a different couple. It's about the main female character's sister and a guy that the sister's baby daddy drove crazy. But like in a good way, because Enzo's so lovable. Anyways, okay, so we're gonna get into it. Let's go over the deets of the book, shall we? All right, so this book and the other 2 books in the series are free to read with Kindle Unlimited. You can get this book right now for your Kindle for the price of $4.99. If you want to purchase this book for your no. Yes. If you want to purchase the book, okay, if you want to purchase this book for your Kindle, you can do so for the price of $4.99. If you want this, not this one, but the original trade paperback that I will put right here, has a different cover. You can get it for the price of $14.99. If you want this paperback, which is the special edition cover, The other two books in the series do have matching covers. I think one is like a pretty blue cover and the other is like a magenta color. They both have flowers as well. This one is $15.99. It's like $1 more. Not terrible. Most special edition covers usually cost a boatload more. So $1, $1, $1. Okay. Now, according to Amazon, if you're new here, hi. Did I introduce myself? I probably did 15 times. We do this in every video where Candace compares the, stop it. Stop it. Sneak peek of the King's. Stop it. Oh my God, there's a excerpt from the next book in the series, which is Julio's book at the end of this paperback. I'm mad. I'm salty right now. I listened to this in audio. There was no excerpt. And then I liked it. Obviously I liked it. And I bought the trade paperback. And then when it came in, I just put it on my bookshelf. I didn't look at it because why would I? It's the same as what I listened to, isn't it? Isn't it? No, it's not. Because the ending has, you want a sneak peek of the next book in the Kings of Italy series, Mafia Target, featuring Giulio Ravazzani. And I don't know how you say that, Alessio Ricci? Giulio's getting his own book? Oh my God. I'm so mad now. All right, well, I'm going to read that tonight anyways. So, if you're new here, kids, in every video, Candace does this thing where she compares the number of actual pages that I got in my trade paperback versus the number of pages Amazon tells me is in the book. It's almost always a lie what Amazon tells you that you're going to get. For example, I got 301 pages. Amazon promised me 322 pages. Even if I counted the excerpt, I would have gotten 309 pages. Amazon. Lies. Liars. Okay, anyways, can you not count? Like, who's doing this? Who's doing this? Is it automated? Your machine is broken. Fix it. Fix it. Anyways, okay. So I'm gonna read the thingy, the blurb, synopsis, and then I'm gonna break it down quickly. Quickly. I say that every time, I know I do. But I'm gonna. And then you'll be free of me, okay? So here we go. Let's jump in. Let's dive in. Okay, so it's from two different POVs. The two main characters for this book are Gia and Enzo. The first POV is from Gia's POV. So, okay. I may be a mafia princess, but I have bigger plans than to stay in this sheltered world. I'm in Milan to pursue my dreams as a fashion designer. Having an affair is the last thing on my mind, except he's handsome and charming and Italian. In other words, he's irresistible. What's the harm in having a little fun? There's a lot of harm, baby. You're gonna find out. Okay, now Enzo. Years of work, my family, and almost my life, all stolen from me. For 4 years, I rebuilt my empire, plotting in secret, planning to make him suffer as I suffered. When the perfect weapon drops into my lap, who am I to say no? Except Gia doesn't seem to mind my darkness. She likes it, even welcomes it. I can't let her distract me, no matter how much I want her, no matter the fire that burns hot between us. I'll have her, and then I'll break her. If she expects mercy, she'll be disappointed. I'm no hero. I'm a ruthless king born to be the villain. Okay. Mafia Madman is written by USA. It can be read as a standalone. Don't. Don't you fucking dare. Okay. But it's probably better if you read Mafia Mistress and Mafia Darling first. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Here we go. So, the two main characters for this book are Gia and Enzo. I already said that. This is a legit age gap. There's an 18-year difference between the two of these people. Okay. Gia is 20. Enzo is 38. So she's young, and he's not like, I'm 38. Fuck. He's not like an old crone, obviously. Well, I am an old crone. Double fuck. Anyway, so moving on before I have an age-related panic attack. When we left off of Mafia Darling, you'll remember Enzo because he was in those books. Enzo was bad guy. Enzo was also married. Now, when we left those books and I heard that Enzo would be the main male character of the next book, I went, what? I don't do the cheating trope, okay? I thought to myself, how's she gonna do that? How's she gonna do that? Because I don't do the cheating trope, and I'm interested to see how she's going to work that out, because he was married with 2 kids, and him and his wife did not seem like they hated each other. I mean, granted, the only interaction we saw between the two of them was when Fausto held a gun to their heads and he had to like sacrifice himself for them. But still, I mean, he wasn't like, I don't care, shoot that bitch. You know what I'm saying? So like, obviously he cared about her. So I was interested. I was like, how's she gonna do this? Because the main female character is not his current wife. It's Frankie's sister, Gia. So yeah. But she killed his wife. Which it sounds bad when I say it like that. But we didn't really know his wife. And it's a sad story in the book. Like it's a tragic backstory. Like she dies in a car accident in England while in hiding. She was having an affair at the time. Granted, she was having an affair because she was unhappy and she was in hiding because of dumb shit Enzo had done. But you know what I mean? Like, it was sad. But like, I didn't know her. We didn't have any backstory on her. We never had really any interaction with her. So it was like, out of sight, out of sight, out of mind type situation. Enter Gia. Okay, moving on. That was callous of me. I'm sorry. But yes, so that's how she fixed that problem. Now he is a single father to 2 children who are currently hiding out in an English boarding school under assumed identities. They're miserable. Well, they're not miserable, but they're not happy either. He only gets to see his children for a few weeks during the summer. And Enzo has been hiding out on a yacht that is constantly in motion. It doesn't ever like make shore, like very infrequently. And when he does come to shore, he's heavily disguised. And you know what I'm saying? So when we left off of Mafia Darling, Enzo was on the run because during Mafia Darling, he had essentially attempted to murder Fausto. He had there was an assassination attempt on Fausto's life because Fausto had Enzo trapped in his dungeon and had tortured him for quite a long time. He had done unspeakable things to Enzo. He had done that because Enzo had kidnapped Frankie, who was pregnant with Fausto's baby at the time. And even though Fausto was treating Frankie at that time deplorably, he was in love with her. He was too stupid to realize he was in love with her, right? Typical. So Enzo managed to make his escape from Fausto's dungeon. He planned an assassination attempt on Fausto's life. It failed. It did injure him. He walked with a limp, had to use a cane for a hot minute, and Enzo had to turn around and go into hiding. All of this happened because Enzo got involved with, if you remember, that old bastard Momo, who was part of the, what the hell is it called? Ndrangheta? Something. Anyway, it's like the Sicilian mob. They're like the head honchos of the Sicilian mob. So he was one of the head honchos, and he was an old fat bastard. He got greedy, and he somehow managed to convince Enzo to start a money laundering scheme behind Fausto's back, behind everyone's back. And they were siphoning money from Fausto's accounts. They were stealing. Fausto found out, and Momo died. Enzo got taken, tortured. He escaped. He regrets, obviously. He regrets. He regrets all of this, but Fausto now wants, he wanted half of his, at the time that he was being tortured, he wanted half of his enterprise and a whole slew of other demands that were absolutely ridiculous. It was literally all of Enzo's money. And Enzo is too prideful, and obviously he came up with that online scheme by himself, and he's proud of that, and he doesn't want to share that money, and so no, fuck you. So he took the torment until he was able to escape. Now he's been on the run for 4 years and in hiding. Fausto has been trying to track him down because he knows his family will never be safe. By the way, he is now married to Frankie, and they have several children together. He knows his family will never be safe until Enzo is dead. Enzo is on the run. His children are in hiding at this boarding school, and he knows that he can never come out of hiding until Fausto and his family are dead. So, rock meet hard place. Okay? Now, enter Gia. Gia is the sister of Frankie, Fausto's wife, and she's a twin, Emma. Emma is her twin sister. They lived in Canada. They were under their mob boss daddy's thumb for a long time until Frankie married Fausto. After Frankie married Fausto, and Fausto basically bullied and or blackmailed their dad into lightening the reins, now Gia has been allowed to go to Milan, where she is a lowly apprentice / gopher for a big-time fashion designer, where she wants to learn to be a fashion designer. She wants to be a fashion designer. She's very talented. She's a great artist. She has a good eye for fashion. She wants to do that. That's her dream. She does not under any circumstances, want to be a mafia wife. Okay? She's very adamant about that. Her mother was a model, a beautiful, world-renowned model, until her father came along, saw her, became infatuated with her, pursued her relentlessly. Her mother unfortunately fell in love with her dickhead father and gave up everything to be with him, and then died because of it in a tragic accident. So she never wants to become like her mother. It's like a tragic do not story. You know what I mean? So she's in Milan and she's working under this fashion designer. One of the models calls in sick or just doesn't come in. They're short a model. Oh shit. There is a major investor who's here who wants to see this designer's new line, and he wants to see where his money is going. The models are going out to model the new line. We're short a model. We need somebody. Who do we have? Gia's got a hot bod. Put her in an outfit. So she has no choice. She gets stuck in a barely there leather straps outfit and made to walk the runway, even though she's not a model, made to walk the runway for this single investor who's sitting at the end in a baseball cap and a pair of dark shades. And immediately he stiffens in more ways than one. Candace, you're such a child. Because he recognizes her. She doesn't recognize him. She met him once before in Fausto's dungeon, but he was in a much different state than he is in now. He was naked, covered in grime, blood, disgusting filth, and beaten badly. Now he looks great, heavily disguised, but he's sitting down there and he recognizes her immediately. And he's thinking to himself, there's no fucking way that the universe has just literally dropped the means for my revenge against Fausto into my lap by putting Gia Mancini right in front of me. And so he makes plans to kidnap her. She finishes walking the runway. He finds her outside, tries to hit on her. She's not having it. I think he sends her flowers. She's like, still not having it. He finds her again later, tries to bombard her and get her to go with him to get a drink. She eventually relents and goes with him to get a drink. They go to a restaurant or a bar. While they're there, even though he's clearly got money, a lot of money, based on the car he drives and the way he dresses, etc., etc., he doesn't sit at the front where he's front and center. He sits at the very back near like the kitchens, and she finds that kind of odd, but she goes with it. And she sits down and she's having a drink with him, and all of a sudden, boom, a bomb goes off and lights out for Gia. Next thing she knows, she wakes up and she's being carted off to, she's a prisoner basically. So he has successfully kidnapped her. She realizes who he is. He takes her back to his yacht where he's been offshore all this time with his two brothers, where occasionally they'll have like women flown into them for parties and things like that so that they can get their dicks wet. Otherwise, they're literally bored to tears on this yacht, just hiding out from Fausto. So they go, he takes her back, and he's, from the torment that he endured in Fausto's dungeon, he's quite deranged. Like, when I say deranged, I mean like, not like he hears voices or anything, but like he doesn't think clearly. He doesn't make rational decisions. And he has a hair-triggered temper. He's very impulsive. He's very, he's crazy. I love it. So he takes her back to his yacht and he puts her in a cage. A giant cage. Like a dog cage. Like a kennel. If you're into the degradation kink, you're gonna like this book. He essentially puts her in there, locks her up with no pillows, no blankets, concrete floors. He literally has this cage special made on the boat to resemble the dungeon he was kept in, because he plans to do to her everything that was done to him in Fausto's dungeon. Even though she's an innocent and had absolutely nothing to do with what happened to him, he doesn't care because he's lost literally all feeling. So he has this cage made and he sticks her in there and he makes her wait to use the bathroom until she's literally about to pee on herself, until she begs him to go to the bathroom. He makes her beg and grovel for everything. And yeah. Eventually, she manages to get out of the cage. She escapes. And she jumps overboard in an escape attempt. It's an irrational attempt because A, Gia can't swim. B, she has no idea where she is, how far offshore they are, how far she would have to swim to get to somewhere. She has no idea. So she literally, he gets her to the breaking point where she doesn't care. She would rather die at sea than be in that cage. And she jumps overboard. Obviously, because she can't swim, she nearly drowns. He jumps overboard to save her. This is in the midst of one of their, hoe parties. And he jumps overboard to save her and then drags her back to his room where he applies some sexual torment and realizes that obviously before this, he has come to the realization that he's sexually attracted to her. But this is where it starts getting really hot, like really, really hot. And from this point on, she stays with him in his room. She doesn't go back to the cage. Granted, he has chains and he has like a leash type situation, but that doesn't last for very long either. That eventually upgrades to the door just being locked and her being locked in the room, and then after that she just has free reign of the yacht, because over time, as you would expect, she grows on him, and she's the only thing that seems to ease his mental torment. He doesn't sleep. He has plaguing nightmares from the torture he went through in Fausto's dungeon. He's very snappish with his brothers. He doesn't think clearly. And she helps him with that. And so he spends as much time with her as possible over time. Like that the amount of time he wants to spend with her grows. By this time, he's broken her down and they've had sex. Very hot sex. And that's one thing I want to note for the record. Like, I want to state for the record. I don't know if it was just because the first books, because they were about the same couple and they were split into a duet into 2 books. And so obviously it had more pages and it was longer and stretched out over more time. And this one was more condensed and had less pages. And obviously it felt like the plot to sex ratio was more sex heavy in this book than in the first 2. Like, I felt like there was more sex in this one than in the first duet. I'm not sure if that's my imagination or if there was more sex. There was a lot of sex in this book. Like, there was quite a bit of sex. Okay? And it was good. Like, it was good sex. Enzo's like an animal. I can't do the thing. I can't do it, but you know what I mean. So yeah. So at one point she gets out of the room while I think he's sleeping. And unbeknownst to the cameras around the yacht, she breaks into his desk and she finds like a sat phone. I think she finds it in his desk. She finds a sat phone. And the first person that she calls is not Fausto. She calls her twin, Emma. She gets in touch with Emma. Emma is in Milan, not Canada. She had come to Milan looking for Gia. All of the news outlets up to this point have basically labeled Gia as dead in the bombing that hit the restaurant. They put out the false narrative that there was a female body found inside that was presumably Gia Mancini. So everybody else thinks Gia is dead. The whole time she's been on this yacht, the world thinks Gia is dead. Emma did not believe she was dead. So Emma had come to Milan to look for Gia. When she gets in touch with Emma, Emma is on the run from someone. The call eventually cuts out. And Gia knows that Emma is in trouble. And she starts to freak out. It's about this time she gets caught with the sat phone. She doesn't have time to apologize or grovel because she's been caught. She immediately begs Enzo to go save her sister. She's like, no, I can't. I'm not gonna say sorry for finding the sat phone. Emma's in trouble. You have to go find her, please. So Enzo, by this time, he doesn't admit it, obviously, but he has feelings for her. And he puts it off to his brothers as, I'm gonna go get Emma, because why not double our bargaining chips with Fausto? If we have both Mancini daughters, even better. When inside, he really knows, I'm getting Emma for Gia because that's her sister and I'm not going to leave her. I'm not just going to let her get taken by whoever it is that's chasing her. And he can't stand to see Gia upset. So Gia demands that she goes with him. He's not having it. He's like, no, you're not. Gia is very ballsy. Gia is very in your face. She's not a meek mouse at all. She's very smart mouthed. She has personality. She has, I hate using the word spunk, but she does have spunk. And she fights Enzo at every turn on literally everything, which I think he enjoys. I think he likes that. But Enzo goes and he gets her. He finds Emma along with a bunch of other women that had been picked up by Russian like sex traffickers. It was essentially a scam where they look for women coming into the airports that appear to be alone and traveling, and they basically abduct them and sell them into the sex trade. So Emma had been targeted, chased down, and taken. He gets Emma and he brings her, he kills a bunch of Russians, which is going to cause some problems in that area for the Italians who run that particular area of wherever it was that they went. But I think he like has his brothers put a call to the Italians that they know the contacts they have in that area. So like give them heads up, like, hey, you're going to have some issues with some Russians for a hot minute, but I had to come in there and get this chick out. So he saves Emma and brings her back to the yacht. At first he's like, no, you're not gonna see each other. I'm keeping you separated, blah, 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 blah. Eventually he relents and he lets them spend time together, and, you know, he's nice and whatever. So what he doesn't realize is the Russians had already placed a tracker inside of Emma, as they do with all of their girls, so that if any of them were to escape, they could track them down and get them back. Fausto, the Russians track Emma to the yacht. Fausto follows the Russians to Enzo. There's a massive kerfuffle at the yacht. And eventually, Fausto is standing there in front of Enzo. They're going face to face. And at this point, Fausto tells Emma, get in the boat. We're leaving. Emma does as she's told, because Emma's a little meek mouse. He tells Gia, get in the boat. Gia says no, because she knows that the minute she walks out of the room, Fausto will shoot him. She's in love with him. She can't let Fausto kill Enzo. Fausto's like, what the fuck is your problem? Get in the boat. And Gia basically stands in front of Enzo and says, no, you're not killing him. I can't let you kill him. And Enzo tells her to go. Makes it out as if he never cared about her. He never had any intentions of wanting to be with her. Nothing that happened between the two of them mattered. You know, the song and dance that they do. You know the dance that they do. I'm gonna push you away. It's for your own good. Till as old as time. You know the thing they do. So yeah. So he does that. And she's still not having it. She still makes Fausto promise that he won't shoot Enzo on the boat today. And Fausto eventually relents and says, fine, we're taking him back to the dungeon. And immediately Enzo begins to sweat. He's like, I can't go back to the dungeon. There's no fucking way. So whether it's a bluff or not, I don't know. I'm not sure if it even explained in the book whether it was a bluff or not. But Enzo essentially tells Fausto the entire boat, including myself, is wired with explosives. I'm not going anywhere. You can get off my yacht, and you can leave. You can go away. Or I can blow us all up. Because I'll die. My brothers, I've talked to them, and they'll die before I let you take me back to the dungeon. And Fausto can see in his eyes that he's telling him the truth. He would rather die. And Fausto knows he has no choice. He did what he came there to do initially, which was rescue Gia and Emma for Frankie. But he can't finish the job of killing Enzo. Because if he tries, he'll die. So he has no choice but to get on the boat, this little speedboat that he brought with him, and leave. He takes Gia, and eventually he takes Gia with him, because she does leave after Enzo has broken her heart. And they leave. Enzo and his two brothers take the yacht, and they abscond to Switzerland, where they hide out in a house, a big old mansion, off the grid for a little while. I think it's like, 3 weeks pass? 2 weeks? Yeah, 2 weeks. 2 weeks pass. Gia and Emma go back to Fausto and Frankie's house. Gia's absolutely miserable. Everyone can tell she's miserable. Everybody knows. Deep down, they know why she's miserable. And at least the women know why she's miserable. I don't think Fausto knows shit. Because Fausto is a man. And he's just like, But he eventually learns. But, so her sister knows why she's miserable. Frankie eventually learns why she's miserable. Frankie doesn't understand at first. She doesn't see the parallels that run between her relationship with Enzo and Frankie's own relationship with Fausto. They're almost mirror images of each other. And she's thinking, how can you be with someone who kidnapped you and did all of these things? And Gia's like, how can you be happy with Fausto? He did the same things to you. And that shuts her up really quick. They come to the conclusion that Gia needs to, that she needs to get out of the area. She needs to leave. She needs to basically leave Italy. She needs to get away from everything that's reminding her of what happened. She needs to find something to distract herself. So Fausto gets her another internship with a different designer. And she goes to Paris, where she starts working for this new designer. Unbeknownst to her and Fausto and everybody else, this new designer is a skeeve. He has a very seedy reputation of date raping women, and he takes a liking to Gia. Enzo finds out about this. He's essentially sitting over in Switzerland, equally miserable, and stalking Gia's social medias. And he sees that she's in Paris. And then he gets word that she's working for this new designer. And his brother, who is the more, I don't want to use word like metrosexual because I feel like that's wrong, but the one who's more hip, the younger brother, is like, why would Fausto send her to work for him? Doesn't he know about his reputation? And Enzo's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, he has a reputation for assaulting women. And Enzo is like, the fuck? And so he basically, he sits there and stews on it for about a total of 5 minutes because he has no self-control and he's in love. And he says, fuck everything. At one point in the book, Gia asks him, she says the words to him, like, is it all worth it? Was all of this worth it? The money, the money that you wanted, was that worth all of this that you're having to go through? That the prices that you've paid, the death of your wife, not being able to see your children for 4 years, or, well, basically not being able to see your children for 4 years, sans 3 weeks a year, having to hide every day. Is it living in fear, anxiety attacks? Like, was it worth it? Is it all worth it? And those words keep replaying in his head after he's alone. And when he hears that Gia may be in trouble, the words come back. And he realizes that no, it's not worth it. The money means nothing. The money means nothing if he doesn't have Gia, if he doesn't have his kids, if he can't live a life, a real life. And so he goes to Fausto's compound alone, unarmed, and he walks up to the gate, basically to the front gate, and he says, I need to see him. Of course, they think it's like some kind of trick, and they manhandle him in. Fausto immediately, as soon as they get him inside, Fausto has him taken. When they realize that he is alone and he is unarmed, Fausto thinks that a golden egg has just dropped right into his lap, and he immediately starts planning his next round of torture. And he tells them to take him back to the dungeon, back to the same cell he was in before. And Enzo knew that was going to happen, and he dreaded that, but he knew he was going to have to go through that in order to get what he needed. And so he lets them drag him to the dungeon, past the other cells, all the way down to the cell that he was in before. All of the panic and the fear and the PTSD that he's got from this is flooding back. But he goes into the cell willingly. And Fausto is literally staring at him like he's a ticking time bomb. Like, what is the trick here? Why are you here? Why are you here willingly, alone, and unarmed? And he tells him about Gia. And he says, I want this truce to end. I mean, I want a truce. And Fausto looks at him and says, you're in love with her, aren't you? Oh my God, you're in love with her. And he doesn't deny it. And at first, Fausto is like, no, I'm not giving you a truce. I'm not giving you shit. And Enzo tells him, I will, in exchange, I'll tell you that there's someone close to you who's trying to kill your son, who's been putting out hits on Giulio. And they're getting ready. They've already put out a hit with someone, and they're getting ready to have him killed. And Fausto at first is enraged, obviously, and then secondly knows that if he doesn't make the truce, that he won't get the information. And so he does. He makes the truce. And he lets Enzo out of the dungeon. And Enzo tells him that it's one of his trusted, one of the other people in the Andromeda, or whatever. You know what I'm saying. Mila, don't come for me because I get a pass, okay? I'm really white. Anyways, so, yeah. So, Enzo rushes off to Paris to save Gia from this skeevy designer, just in time to get to a club where he has just roofied her drink. What Enzo doesn't know is that Gia has seen him roofie the drink. Frankie's called her and told her that this guy is a skeeve, and she has basically waited and watched him drug the drink and switched the cups so that he is getting ready to basically drug himself. Enzo comes up and tries to, obviously save the day. And she's like, what the fuck are you doing here? And he's like, I want you back. And she's like, go fuck yourself. And she puts up a very good fight. And she makes him grovel big time, which he does. And eventually she takes him back. And they live happily ever after. After he begs her forgiveness and she eventually relents, they go off to England to get his kids and take them out of that piece of shit boarding school. I mean, it was a very nice prep school, but it's not where they needed to be. They get his kids. His kids are very nice, well-mannered kids, well-behaved, and they gravitate towards Gia, especially the little girl. And he introduces her right away as, like, this is my girlfriend. And they're fine with it. And it's literally perfect. And yeah, and that's how it ends. There is an epilogue 1 year later of he has allowed Gia to go on a 1 year, what is it? She's gone on like a 1 year internship back in Milan. And she has just finished the internship and she's coming back to the yacht. They're no longer in hiding. They're no longer on the run. I want to say they do have a house somewhere, but I don't remember if it specified that. But occasionally they come out to the yacht where they utilize the cage, which is what this occasion is for. And they'll be celebrating the end of her 1 year internship with a new designer, and who is not a skeeve. And they're gonna have some pretty wild, nasty, gross sex. Some dirty, dirty sex. And so they've come out to the yacht to do that. And that is the epilogue 1 year later. So yeah, That's the end of the book. Done. An hour later. I said I was going to be quick, and you know, that's always a lie. I always lie to you, don't I? Like Amazon's pages. I lie to you. So yeah, that's it, babies. For the rating for the book, I would give it at least a solid 9. I loved this book. I liked it as much as I did the first duet, probably a little bit more. Yeah, I think I would probably say I liked it a little bit more. It grew on me, to be honest. I want to say after I finished it and I sat there and it had time for everything to like process and like I absorbed the plot and like the story. Because like, yes, I do absorb as I read, but I also sit there and I think about it after the fact. And as I did that, I think I liked it more than I did the duet. So yeah, there you go. The end. End scene. So yeah, I would highly recommend this book to other people, and I would highly recommend this series to other people. Mila Finelli is a fantastic writer. Her writing is very engaging. She has a great writing style. Her editing is great. Like, it's chef's kiss. I'm just full of stereotypes today. I'm sorry. I apologize. But yeah, I would highly recommend this series to other people. If the spice, the sex scenes in this book and in the duet are very good. They're very good. And yeah, do it. The audio as well. Really quick, I'm gonna touch on the audio. I did the audio for this book as well. It has the same narrators as the duet did. The female narrator is Charlotte Claremont. I don't remember the name of the male narrator, but it is the same guy who voiced Fausto in the audiobooks for the first 2. So if you did the audio for the first, it's the same narrators for this one. And it was very well done. They're duly narrated. Thank God. And they're fantastic. So yeah, I would recommend this book to other people, and I'd recommend this series to other people. So yeah, I really appreciate you guys joining me for another video. If you enjoyed this video, if you like me and you like my channel, please consider subscribing. I really appreciate it. If you would like, you can follow me on social media. I will link them all in the description box below, and I'll put a little banner here on the screen for you guys to see. And yeah, I think that's it. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. Ciao, bella. Stop it. You stop it right now. I've been speaking Italian for a long time. I don't speak Italian. I only know the Italian that these books have taught me. So I've been literally walking around the house. Like, something will happen bad to me, and I'll go, cazzo. I don't even know what that means. TBH. Did I just use text lingo in real life? Yes, I did. I don't even know what cazzo means. What does it even mean? Asshole? What is it? I don't even know. That's literally the only Italian that I know, is what these books have taught me. But I still use it every day since reading these damn books. Anyway, hi, welcome back to another episode. Let's do our intro, shall we? Why not? Let's do that. That's not important. Here we go. Fucking rabbit here in front of my face. Story of my life. Anyways, an itchy nose on top of everything else. Okay, are we ready? Are we ready? No, never. All right, we're gonna do it anyways. Here we go, ready? I got my Katunik shirt came in. Look at this. How beautiful is that? Isn't that so fucking cute? The design is bigger than I thought it would be. But that's good because it takes up literally the entire fucking shirt. If you recognize this what this design is from, drop it in the comments. If you like this design, you can get it from my Teespring shop. I'll put the link below. I should start doing that, shouldn't I? I should probably put that in the comments section, or in the hell's it called? Description. I should probably put that in the description, shouldn't I? No, Candace, you don't want to make money off of any of your designs. It's fine. Okay, let's get started, shall we? Is it raining? It's raining outside. It's raining, man. Hallelujah, it's a raining, man. Hey, hey. What is wrong with you? I don't know. Honestly. Honestly, I don't know.